Hey everybody, welcome back to the Hip Horse. Tommy D, Johnny Lowe, Kentucky Derby 2021. It's going to be the 147th run for the Roses, Johnny. We're looking at the future bets. Pool number 2, my friend, starts Friday. It's going to go till Sunday. We're going to be looking at 23 horses. Tell me what you think, and how are you?
Doing great. I really love these Kentucky Derby futures. I kind of live for this kind of stuff. At this point in the Derby Trail, you really just have to go off of pedigrees. There's been some horses that have showed a little here and there, but who knows what's going to happen in May. The only thing you can really rely on is how they're bred. I started betting the Kentucky Derby future pool in 2017. I got really lucky. I'd always dreaming of 42 to 1. Unfortunately, Bodemeister, his sire, got shipped out of the country, but I was pretty big on him. And then in 2019, I was all about Country House in February, and he was 31 to 1. I hit that. Unfortunately, he went off at 60 whatever to 1 in the race, so I lost some odds in the race. But I'm still happy with the 42 to 1 and a 30 plus to 1 connect right there. So hopefully we could find somebody like that in this year's Kentucky Derby pool number 2.
Yeah, I'd love to hear that, Johnny, having some luck with these pools in the past. Interesting this year, as we said. If you haven't watched our last video, go back and watch it. We talk about the LASIK issue moving forward here, Johnny. But we're going to look at the Kentucky Derby. We got 23 contenders to look at. We're going to go through all 23 quickly, and then we're going to give a top 3. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Awesome. Well, let's get to it. Let's talk about the first horse on the list. It's going to be Bezos at 20 to 1.
Yeah, so we've got Bezos here. It's a Baffert horse that's never ran before. He's by Empire Maker out of AP Mink, who's by AP Indy. There's really no significant family members on the bottom side. I think the barn's high on the horse, but he's getting kind of a late start at 20 to 1. It's going to be a bold bet. The 2 horse is going to be Caddo River. Caddo River's by Hardspun out of Pangern, who's by Congrats. Have to go so deep in the fem line, or if you go really deep in the fem line, you could find Tank Prospector on there, but not a whole lot. The 3 horse Cape O'Kane is by Street Sense out of Twirl Me, who's by Hardspun. I didn't find a whole lot of significance on the bottom line there. The 4 is Concert Tour by Street Sense, who's out of Purse Strings by Tap It. He just made his debut the other day, looked really nice. We've got Essential Quality, who's by Tap It, out of Delightful Quality, who's by Elusive Quality. Grandmother dropped Folklore, who was a Breeders' Cup Juvenile Filly winner. This is obviously your Breeders' Cup Juvenile winner in Essential Quality, 8 to 1.
Let's move on to number 2, Derby Future.
All right, and next on the list at 30 to 1, we've got Fire at Will. Fire at Will is by Declaration of War. He's out of Flirt by Kitten's Joy. It's a complete turf pedigree. The grandmother dropped Decorated Invader, and this horse was your Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf Champion. So we'll see if they cross over to the dirt. Could be a big risk at 30 to 1. At 50 to 1, we have Greatest Honor. Greatest Honor is by Tap It, out of Tiffany's Honor, who's by Street's Cry. The grandmother is Better Than Honor. If that sounds familiar, it's because Better Than Honor, that's right, dropped more, not 1, but 2 Belmont Stakes winners in Jazil and Rags to Riches. And if you want to see a good race, watch Rags to Riches and Curling down the stretch. Unbelievable. After that, we've got 20 to 1 Highly Motivated. Highly Motivated is by Into Mischief, out of Strong Incentive, who's by Warrior's Reward. 3 of the 4 on the black line are not the black line. I'm sorry. 3 out of the 4 on the fem line are black type, which I like to see on the bottom side. And then in this group we have at 30 to 1 Hot Rod Charlie. He's by Oxbow out of Indian Miss, who's by Indian Charlie, and he's half to the very speedy Breeders' Cup champion sprinter Mitole.
Hey, there we go. Some information there all at once. 9 horses in the first start of the second pool of the Kentucky Derby. That's going to be going on. The next pool is going to be February 12th to the 14th, but we're worried about this week. It's going to open up this Friday and going to close on Sunday. So if you want to get in on some of these early bets, if you like one of these horses, it might be worth the shot. Johnny loves doing these futures, so that's why we're going to do this show for you. All right, Johnny, let's move on and let's take a look at the next one, starting off with Jackie's Warrior here at 20 to 1.
So we've got Jackie's Warrior at 21. A little bit of a disappointment, obviously, in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. Jackie's Warrior is by Maclean's Music, out of Unicorn Girl, who's by AP 500. Interesting thing about Jackie's Warrior is the Stallion Maclean Music is inbred to Mr. Prospector, and the Broodmare AP or Unicorn Girl is inbred to the Seattle Slew line. So he's got a lot of inbreeding on top and on bottom, but it's still a cross since it's not the same on top and bottom. The next one at 20-1 is Keep Me in Mind by Lobon. Lobon is by Uncle Mo. He's been a very hot sire in New York. This horse is out of Inclination by Victory Gallop. It's a half sibling to a black type, and 2 of 4 on the Femliner black type as well, so it's pretty good underneath. The next one is going to be the Morning Line favorite, Life is Good. Life is Good is by In the Mischief out of Beach Walk, who's by Distorted Humor. 3 of 4 on the Femliner black type for Life is Good as well. The next horse, Mandalone, is by Into Mischief as well, who leads the list with horses as a sire. This horse is out of Brooch, who's by Empire Maker. All but one Broodmare are black type, all the way back to 1885. I mean, that's pretty impressive. I think that's the most on the list. The next one is 12-1 Medina Spirit. This horse is 12-1 because of the big race against Life is Good. He's by Protonico, who's the Stormcat line. He's out of Mongolian Change, who's by Brilliant Speed. Last black type male in the family was High Yield in 1997 by Stormcat. Honestly, I think this horse is completely bred for turf. We'll see what happens moving forward. It has ran a couple big races. I don't know if we'll see a switch, but I think if we do, watch out for that horse on the grass. The next horse is 30-1 Midnight Bourbon. He's by Tisnow, the Calbred. Out of Catch the Moon, who's by Malibu Moon. He's a half to Gervin, Pirate's Punch, and Corked and Loaded. All black type siblings, which I definitely like to see. The Broodmare is definitely a producer. Then we come to 30-1 Muktas Sabik, which means racer in English. He's by Into Mischief out of Downside Scenario, who's by Scat Daddy. We've got 50-1 Olympiad, who's by Spitestown, out of Tokyo Time, who's by Medaglia d'Oro. 3 of 4 in the Femline or black type. We have Prate, who's also by Into Mischief, out of Vaunting, who's by Exchange Rate.
Yeah, Johnny, you're rolling right through this. We talked about 18 on the Derby futures pools. Going right through the list here. We're going to give us our top 3 here at the end here, so stay tuned for that. If you're joining us, please hit that like, subscribe, ring that bell. We're going to be putting out Derby talk the whole way through, my friends. Me and Johnny, we're on the Derby trail, and we're going to pick out that winner for you this year. So tune in. We'll be following the big races, and this is just, we're taking a look at the future pools. If you want to throw some bananas down, there you go, Johnny. So let's get to number 19. It's going to be Prime Factor at 30-1.
Yeah, so 30-1 here, Prime Factor by Quality Road, out of Haley Bria, who's by Bernardini. Third generation on the Fem line is Classy and Smart. Classy and Smart's best known for dropping Smart Strike. Really, when I look at that Fem line, it's pretty incredible actually to trail it back. They did some pretty good work there. The next horse at 50-1 is Proxy, who's by Tap It, out of Panty Raid, who's by Include. 2 of 3 on the Fem line or black type. And then we have 20-1 Senor Buscador, who's by Mineshaft, out of Rose's Desert by Desert God. And then we have 30-1 Spielberg, who's by Union Rags, out of Miss Squeal, who's by Smart Strike. 3 of 4 in the Femliner black type. And the last, the 23rd is 50-1 Wipe the Slate, who's by Nyquist, out of Fancy and Flashy, who's by Sensational. And then we have the field at, I think, like 6-5.
9-5.
9-5. The field looks pretty appetizing right now. I don't know if I want to take 9-5 on a futures, but
what would you take it at?
I don't think
3-1, 4-1.
If you gave me 5-1 on the field, I think I'd probably take it at this point. I think there's a lot of horses that aren't on this list that I think are going to be popping up pretty soon.
And I'm just throwing this out there. Can you name one off the top of your head that's not on the list that you like?
Yeah, there was that Candy Ride horse that just won down in Gulfstream, something Candy Rocket. The Curlin horse Amount that's looking pretty solid. Baffert's been bragging about Triple Tap. He says that's his best horse in his barn. I think there's a lot of horses this year that haven't ran yet or haven't really showed what they can do that aren't going to be included in this list. I think these Into Mischief horses hopefully take a lot of money. I think I'm going to make a stand this year and bet against them and try to get some odds elsewhere.
Hey, well, there you have it. I mean, taking a look at the futures here, Johnny, and this is the second pool that's opening for this. There's also going to be a couple more pools after this. There's pool third is going to be February 12th. And then you got the next one March 5th and March 26th. As obviously the picture is going to be changing as horses are going to be winning these big races. So just a couple extra ones that aren't on there. Maybe we'll see moving forward, Johnny. But let's talk about this year's Kentucky Derby pool futures right now. You see some big name trainers on there. You see Bob Baffert. He's got 5 horses on the list, Johnny. As you know, he keeps doing it again and again. 6-time winner. Did it last year with Authentic. Got some serious competitors here this year, Johnny. Is there any of these ones that stick off the page, or your thoughts that Bob Baffert does it again for the 7th time?
It never shocks me when Baffert wins. I think his best shot at winning the Derby this year out of the contenders on this list is going to be a 15-1 Concert Tour. The Street Sense Tappet Cross, I think, is by far the best for the 1.25 mile. The Bezos horse, he sent a horse that's by Empire Maker to post before. We've seen Pioneer of the Nile run. We've seen Bodemeister. They both ran second. So he's definitely been knocking on the door with these Empire Maker horses. Wouldn't shock me if that horse came out and was a real monster. I want to see the horse run before I put any real money on him. And at 20-1 morning line, it looks like he's on the lower end of the spectrum odd-wise as far as the future wagers go. Life is Good's been making really all the noise out of his barn with such fast fractions. We'll see. I really honestly truly believe that Into Mischief is more of a mile type stallion. He's had Golden Sense, Practical Joke, Audible, last year with Authentic running in the race and winning. It was later in the year. It was kind of a weird year. I don't really know how it stacks up compared to a normal Derby year, so I'm just going to bet against him. The only horse in the last 20 plus years that's sired multiple winners in the Kentucky Derby, Maria's Mon. Nobody really knows who that is. So I don't know, for a big name stallion like this to win back-to-back years, it really would be incredible. But I don't know. I don't see it. I think that I'm going to have to take Concert Tour at 15-1 and hope he floats up a little bit.
Yeah, throwing a Baffert in your future is not bad. Even taking maybe a couple here. Life is Good, 6-1 for Windstar. China Horse Club, as you said, strong connections there. Won the Sham Grade 3 last time out. On top of Baffert's, 5 horses here. But as you said, Concert Tour might be one to pay attention. 15-1. You also have Spielberg at 30-1, Bezos at 20-1, and Medina Spirit at 16-1. That's the stablemate running with Life is Good. So 5 horses for Baffert that you're looking at. I guess let's take a look at a couple. I got another question, Johnny. We're taking a look at some trainers on here that have not won the Kentucky Derby yet that maybe have a good shot this year. Cox, lights out trainer. He's got 4 horses in the field here, including the top one, Essential Quality, who won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, has Prate, Mandaloun, and Caddo River. That's Cox. And then you have Steve Asmussen, also a great trainer who has not won the race yet, who also has a few horses in the race, including Jackie's Warriors and Midnight Bourbon. Your thoughts on both of these trainers, and is it worth a bet to throw down on the future on these guys?
Cox's barn has just been incredible. I mean, absolutely incredible. Look at Monomoy Girl. I mean, there's just the guy's horses run. Essential Quality won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. That was my pick for the Juvenile. Unfortunately, he's by Tappet. First thing I do when I look at the Kentucky Derby is I throw the Tappets out. So at 8-1, I don't think there's any way that I would bet Essential Quality in the futures. Caddo River's by Hardspun. Hardspun, I look at Hardspun and I think mud, grass. It might rain Derby day, It happens often. We'll see what Caddo River's made of here pretty soon. I think out of his 4 horses, that one probably has the best shot. Prate did win pretty impressively, and Mandaloon is supposed to be a really nice horse, but they're both by In the Mischief, and we know my theory this year. I'm going to take a stand against In the Mischiefs. Asmussen has those two horses, Jackie's Warrior. I think Jackie's Warrior is going to be a little short on the top side. He's got that inbred Mr. Prospector Stallion line with Maclean's Music. Cloud Computing won the Preakness. He's really the only standout horse by Maclean's Music. I think one-turn races are probably going to be the best races for horses by Maclean's Music, but we'll see what happens with him. Midnight Bourbon, on the other hand, I'm sitting around praying that there's a horse that's going to carry on the Tisnow gene, because Tisnow is basically the last of the line of the Man of War. Man of War line basically came down to two Calbreds, Bertrando and Tisnow, and at this point, Tisnow's done. He's not having any more children. One of these horses needs to take over and win a couple big races and get his name back into the barn and the breeding shed and get it going. Midnight Bourbon, I think, has a really good chance. His broodmare is just so good, and I think he's the horse. If Asmussen does win, he's the horse that could do it for him this year.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're looking at a lot of top trainers, and one I didn't mention, I'll just throw out one more at you. Chad Brown, another trainer that has not won the Kentucky Derby, who is a winning trainer that keeps winning and winning. Only one in this Derby future pool, with Highly Motivated. I know you mentioned that just briefly, strong pedigree there. Do you think this one has a chance at 20-1?
Not really. He's by Into Mischief.
Oh, I forgot. Into Mischief.
I'm making my Into Mischief stance this year.
How can I forget?
I'm
throwing it out.
And I think Into Mischief is a great stallion. I mean, obviously you'd have to be really you got to be a hater if you don't like Into Mischief, obviously. With that being said, I think his horses can run on the dirt, the turf, whatever. Just a mile and a quarter on the dirt, I don't see it. I know Authentic won the Breeders' Cup Classic and he won the Kentucky Derby, but I think I'm gonna make another Into Mischief horse beat me on the mile and a quarter on the dirt before I'm truly sold on the horse.
Hey, there we go. Anything else you want to add to the mix here before we jump into the top three here?
I think this year's Derby picture is very cloudy. I think years past, I think we've seen a couple horses that stand out a little bit more at this point than we have this year. The year Justify kind of hopped in real late. I think this is kind of one of those years. It kind of reminds me of it's going that way. You know, there hasn't been a horse that's such a monster that you're just looking at it, waiting for May to come around so you can get 5-2 on him and beat the field. You know, so that's one thing I can definitely see with these 23 horses. There's a lot of live odds for a reason.
Yeah, no, Johnny, I'm excited. The futures are here. Open Friday, that's what we're talking. Kentucky Derby futures, 147, Run for the Roses. Tommy D, Johnny Lowe on the hip horse, guys. We're gonna go ahead and give you the top three right now. Johnny, let's get right to it. Let's give them what they want. Number 3 on our list for the futures is gonna be.
He's going to be the son of the Calbred. We're going to go with Midnight Bourbon. I think he's a really good value if he stays around 30-1. I think it wouldn't be a bad futures play. If that horse wins a couple more big prep races on the way to the Derby, he's probably going to be somewhere around 8-10-1, I believe. So if you can get him at 30-1 or higher, the horse is bred to stay sound. So hopefully he makes it to the race, and I think you can see some value in that one.
Yeah, and when you say bred for the sound, could you maybe explain that a little bit for everybody?
Yeah, he's by Tisnow. Tisnow was a nice sound horse. It's that Man of War line. I just think they're a little bit thicker bone. They're not as fragile as some of the other horses that are more speedy types, that are more muscular up top and have thinner, more brittle legs. I think he's a horse that's probably going to be around by May.
Yeah, no, I like it. There we go. Number 3 on the list, Midnight Bourbon, trained by Steve Asmussen. All right, Johnny, let's move on to number 2, Derby futures here. Pool number 2. Who do we like?
Number 2 is going to be the son of a former Kentucky Derby winner who had a really tough year to win it as well. He had to beat Hardspun. He had to beat Curlin, who's Street Sense. Street Sense is the sire of Concert Tour. Concert Tour, I think, is Baffert at this point his best shot to win the race. He just unveiled him at about 6. I think he ran 6 furlongs in his debut. Crushed, won easy, looked really nice. out of the Tappan mare. I think he's got the stamina on bottom and the speed on top. He's going to be a very, very tough opponent. If he sticks around 15-1 or higher, I think it's worth a bet. I don't know if he's going to send him to Arkansas like he does or keep him around for the Santa Anita Derby. But if he wins either one of those races, I have a feeling his odds are going to be less than 15 to 20-1 in the Derby.
Yeah, I mean, Bobby B, you got to put Bob Baffert on your list there, Johnny. Like we said, winning it 6 times, going for his 7th. Top horse here, you like here, Concert Tour. I think it's got a great opportunity and a good shot, Johnny. Let's move on to number 1 on the list here, Johnny. Number 1 is going to be
Prime Factor. I think Prime Factor has a great shot at winning this race. He's got the fem line on the bottom. Quality Road got off to a really hot start. He's had some really nice horses. He's really cooled off in the last couple of years, but this might be the one. I think this is going to be the horse that really shows what he could do. He's out there outworking Largent, who's going to be running the Pegasus Turf Cup this weekend. Beating older horses like that have that much class and workouts just shows you where that horse is at. And at 30-1 morning line, if he stays anywhere near that, that's the value of the entire field.
Yeah, there we go. I mean, Prime Factor, Todd Pletcher is the trainer here. Talking Trainers has won the Derby twice, Johnny. Always Dreamin' and Super Saver, 2 of the winners there. Todd Pletcher, one of the best trainers for many, many years. I mean, keeps winning and winning over on the East Coast. Chad Brown's kind of knocking into him. Cox is knocking into him. But Pletcher always putting quality horses into the gate here. So Prime Factor, number 1 on our list. We're talking Kentucky Derby Futures, pool number 2. It starts Friday, guys. Friday till Sunday, so get your action in if you can. Also, you're watching the Hip Horse. Tommy D, Johnny Lowe, ring the bell. Give us a thumbs up. Put that bell on for notifications because we're talking Kentucky Derby, baby. Johnny, anything else you want to add in before we get out of here about the Derby picture?
Not a whole lot. I think we've covered it up to this point.
There we go. You heard it. Stay tuned, guys, for more videos. Derby talk coming at you on the Hip Horse, everybody. Good luck to everybody, and we'll catch you next time.